In this video, I'm going to show you great and ideal teams for Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Instead of showing just one team of 6 or 3 Pokemon for a journey, I'll showcase 4 teams centered around each of the 3 starters and a 4th extra Pokemon. Like before, there's a handful of rules we must follow for this challenge. No trade evolutions, no post-game Pokemon, no Pokemon from outside Hoenn, no version exclusives unless they're temporary members. 4th members are okay, but only for challenges the main team can't beat. So now that I explained the rules, let's jump right into this challenge. Before we begin, we'll still need temporary Pokemon that can use HM so our main team won't lose great move slots. As usual, for all 4 teams, we'll catch a flying type that can take us to towns we've been to, we'll catch a Marill that can utilize water HMs, and we'll get the well-known Linoone to help with smashing rocks and pushing boulders aside. As for other temporary mons, we'll get Oddish and Graveler to help the Blaziken team before we get our Dragon, we'll get a Graveler to help out the Sceptile team before we get our Water type, and we'll get a Swellow to help out the Swampert team and help out our 4th unrevealed starter for a little bit. The hidden 4th starter I hinted at is none other than the feminine psychic, Gardevoir. What makes Gardevoir good is having high special attack and special defense along with good speed, making Gardevoir a decent special attacker. The way to get Gardevoir is surprisingly tricky. Once you reach Route 102, search through the tall grass. It's only tricky due to Ralts having a 4% chance to spawn, but it's very much worth finding and capturing. Then when you do, train Ralts up to level 20 to get Glalie, and then train again to level 30 to get Gardevoir. A good nature for Gardevoir would be timid, helping it move a bit faster in battle. A good moveset for Gardevoir would be Thunderbolt and Psychic as go-to moves, letting it make the most of its high special attack while the former hits hard against water and flying types. Shockwave as backup in case Thunderbolt runs out of power points also helps Gardevoir not miss against evasive targets. Also Protect as support, helping Gardevoir avoid some attacks that usually threaten it. Up next, we have the handy heavyweight sumo, Hariyama. What makes Hariyama great is having huge HP and attack. It also benefits from 2 great abilities in Thick Fat and Guts. Thick Fat gives Hariyama resistances to fire and ice, while Guts doubles Hariyama's attack if it gets a status ailment, but it won't be boosted when it's either asleep or frozen, so watch out for that. The way to get Hariyama is quite easy. When you make it to Dewford Town, head northwest to Granite Cave, then search in the 1st floor and you'll find a Makuhita, then train up Makuhita to level 24 to get Hariyama. A good nature for Hariyama to be careful, improving Hariyama's low special defense. A good moveset for Hariyama to be Break Break as its go-to move, hitting hard against many opponents in Hoenn. Earthquake is coverage to help it hit hard against more targets. Facade is a backup move and to take advantage of Hariyama's Guts ability. Also, Knockoff is a support move to prevent some opponents from using their berries in battle. And since Hariyama has low special attack, Knockoff won't be an offensive move but instead be a support move. Last up, we have the mean hockey mask, Glalie. Might be a surprise, but what makes Glalie good is having well-rounded stats along with a decent move pool. However, Glalie is the most tricky to get out of all the Pokemon that'll be on this list. Once you've entered Moss Deep City, you'll have to wait till in-game hours between 3 AM and 9 AM or between 3 PM and 9 PM to go north of there. During that time period, surf on Route 25 and enter Shoal Cave. Once you're there, go down through 4 floors of the cave till you make it to the Ice Room. While you're there, you'll have a 10% chance to find and capture Snorunt, then train it up to level 42 to get Glalie. A good nature for Glalie would be Modest, allowing for Glalie to hit a lot harder with its special moves. A good moveset for Glalie would be Ice Beam and Crunch as go-to moves, the former doing great against dragons while the latter hits hard against psychic and ghost types. Water Pulse is coverage to make fire types less dangerous to deal with, and Torment is a support move to stop an opponent from using the same move for a few turns. Moving on to the lesser starter, we have Sceptile. Despite what I just said, Sceptile proves to be very capable thanks to having high special attack and speed along with good coverage and support moves. The way to get Sceptile is very easy. After you've visited your new neighbor at Little Root Town, head to Route 101 and you'll see Professor Birch getting chased by a wild Pokemon. Then look in his bag and get the Pokeball containing Treecko. And during your journey, train Treecko to level 16 to get Grovyle, and train again to level 36 to get Sceptile. A good nature for Sceptile would be Mild, helping it hit a lot harder with its special attacks. A good moveset for Sceptile would be Leaf Blade as a main move, making the most of its high special attack and sometimes getting critical hits. Dragon Claw and Aerial Ace is coverage, the former being a great neutral special move for Sceptile while the latter never missing the target and even hitting hard against some Pokemon. Also Safeguard is a support move, letting Sceptile be immune to status for a handful of turns. Up next, we have the heavyweight sumo from earlier, Hariyama. Similar to the normal type in our Johto teams, Hariyama is actually great enough to use more than once. But like I said earlier, what makes Hariyama as great as having huge bulk and great attack also benefits from either Thick Fat or Guts as an ability. Also, like I said, the way to get Hariyama is very easy. After you get to Dewford Town and make it to the Granite Cave, walk in the first floor and you'll find Makuhita. Then train Makuhita to level 24 to get Hariyama. A good nature for Hariyama would be, like I said earlier, careful to improve its special bulk. A good moveset for Hariyama is a copy and paste of what it had before. Brick Break is a go-to move, hitting hard against normal, dark, and steel types. Earthquake has coverage to increase Hariyama's offensive range. Facade is a backup move to help with utilizing Guts. And Knockoff is support to prevent opponents from using their berries in battle. Those moves will help Hariyama quite a lot. Last up, we have the Rough Tumble Shark, Sharpedo. Might be a surprise, but what makes Sharpedo good is having high attack, special attack, and speed along with great moves and a great ability. Kinda making Sharpedo a high-risk, high-reward glass cannon. The way to get Sharpedo is kinda simple. Once you've defeated Norman, make it to Mauville City and head east. Then surf the Route 118 and meet up with the fisherman there. Talk to him and get the good rod. Once you've done that, fish on the coast and you'll have a 20% chance to capture a Carvanha. Then train up Carvanha to level 30 to get Sharpedo. A good nature for Sharpedo would also be mild, helping improve its special attack moves. A good moveset for Sharpedo would be Surf and Crunch's go-to moves, the former hitting hard against Fire, Rock, and Ground types, while the latter does great damage against Psychic and Ghost types. Ice Beam is coverage to help Sharpedo reliably counter Dragon types, and Protect to help Sharpedo not get beaten so easily by some attacks. Especially helpful since Sharpedo's defenses are terrible. Moving on to the middle choice of starters, we have the Fiery Chicken, Blaziken. What makes Blaziken good is both of its types having great offensive synergy, covering many bases. Another thing helping Blaziken is having great attack and special attack along with good speed, letting Blaziken be a high-risk, high-reward mixed attacker just like Sharpedo. Also, just like getting Sceptile, getting Blaziken is very simple. After you visit your new neighbor at Little Root Town, head to Route 101 to save Professor Birch. Then look into his bag and get the Pokeball containing Torchic. And during your journey, train Torchic to level 16 to get Combusken, then train again to level 36 to get Blaziken. A good nature for Blaziken would be Hasty, helping Blaziken outrun many opponents and utilize its mixed attacking skills. A good moveset for Blaziken would be Fire Punch and Brick Break as its main moves, the former hitting hard against Grass, Ice, and Steel types, while the latter hits hard against normal Ice, Rock, and Dark types. Aerial Ace is a support move, doing decent damage while letting Blaziken not miss against evasive targets. And Mirror Move is another support move, which will be helpful at countering some targets with the move they just used against you. The way to get Blaziken Fire Punch is from giving a heart scale to the move reminder near Fall Arbor Town, which will be a helpful alternative to keeping Blaze Kick. Next up, we have the Sandy Dragonfly, Flygon. What makes Flygon good is having well-rounded stats along with high attack and speed. Also benefits from its ability Levitate, giving Flygon an extra immunity that helps it a lot. The way to get Flygon is also simple. Soon after you've beaten Flannery and received the Go Goggles from your rival, head to the desert at Route 111. When you make it there, find and capture a Trapinch. Then train up Trapinch to level 35 to get Vibrava, then train again to level 45 to get a Flygon. A good nature for Flygon would be a neutral one, keeping its already good stats solid, though getting 128 plus special attack EVs might help when facing other dragons. A good moveset for Flygon would be Dragon Claw and Earthquake as go-to moves, the former hitting decently against other dragons while the latter hits hard against Fire, Electric, Poison, and Steel types. Facade is backup in case the other moves run out of power points, also hits way harder when Flygon has a status condition. Also, Sandstorm is a support to wear down bulky targets, also helping with Flygon's dragon moves. Last up, we have the High Voltage Hound, Manectric. What makes Manectric good is having high speed and special attack, as well as having a good ability in static. Getting Manectric is very easy. You can either get an Elytrite from the tall grass at Route 110 or Route 118. Then during your journey, train up Elytrite to level 26 to get a Manectric. A good nature for Manectric would be Modest, helping boost Manectric's special attack prowess. A good moveset for Manectric could be Thunderbolt and Crunch's go-to moves, the former hitting hard against water and flying types, while the latter is great coverage against Psychic and Ghost types. Shockwave is backup in case Thunderbolt runs out of power points, also helps Manectric hit evasive opponents. And Protect is support to help Manectric last a bit longer in battle. The way to get Manectric Crunch will require breeding a male Mawile or Seviper with a female Elytrite to pass the move down, which will be a far stronger alternative to keeping Bite. Saving the best team for last, we have the best starter in Hoenn, Swampert. It goes without saying that water and ground have a terrific synergy with each other, and if that wasn't good enough, Swampert benefits from having high stats along with great attack options. Just like getting the other two starters, the way to get Swampert is quite simple. Soon after you visit your neighbor at Little Root Town, head to Route 101 to save Professor Birch. Then look into his bag and grab the Pokeball containing Mudkip. Then during your journey, train Mudkip to level 16 to get Marsh Stomp, then train again to level 36 to get Swampert. A good nature for Swampert would be a neutral one, keeping its already great stats unhindered. A good moveset for Swampert would be Surf and Earthquake as go-to moves. The former hits hard against Fire, Rock, and Ground types, while the latter makes the most of Swampert's high attack power. Ice Beam as coverage to make dealing with dragons far easier, and Rest as a support move to heal Swampert in battle. Reliable recovery despite Swampert falling asleep from the move. And to make using Rest easier, you might want to equip a Chesto Berry. Next up, we have the four-winged flyer, Crobat. What makes Crobat great is having good, evenly rounded stats along with amazing speed and buffs from coverage moves, allowing for Crobat to be a capable flying type. The way to get Crobat is very easy. When you arrive at Dewford Town, head northwest to Granite Cave. Then search on the first floor and Zubat will come to you. Yeah, no joke, it's that easy to capture. Then train up Zubat to level 22 to get Golbat, then put a Soothe Bell on Golbat and raise its friendship a lot to get Crobat. A good nature for Crobat would be Adamant, helping with its already good attack capabilities. A good moveset for Crobat would be Aerial Ace as its main move, letting it hit hard against grass and fighting types. It also helps Crobat not miss any target. Shadow Ball is coverage to make dealing with psychic types less difficult. Facade is backup in case Crobat has a status condition and needs to hit much harder. Also, Thief is support to help other moves do more guaranteed damage, as well as steal whatever item the gym leader's Pokemon have. Last up, we have the fast-striking Shroom, Breloom. What makes Breloom great is having high attack along with great status moves to make for wicked synergy. Another thing helping Breloom is Effect Spore. If any Pokemon makes contact with Breloom, they'll get a status effect. The way to get Breloom is a bit tricky. After you make it to Route 104, go north and enter Petalburg Woods. Then search in the tall grass and you'll be able to find Shroomish, but it might take a little bit since it's a 15% chance. Then during your journey, train up Shroomish to level 23 to get Breloom. A good nature for Breloom would be Jolly, helping it outpace far more opponents. A good moveset for Breloom would be Brick Break as its main move, helping Breloom hit hard against many opponents in Hoenn. Sludge Bomb is a backup move. Might not do good damage against many opponents, but it has a high chance of inflicting poison. Giga Drain and Leech Seed is support. The former restores Breloom's HP despite it having low special attack, while the latter slowly drains the opponent's HP over the course of the battle. Very helpful anyways. Finally, we finished redoing the ideal teams of Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald. Despite not having many of the past 251 Pokemon from earlier, this region still had a surprising amount of great Pokemon with many great movesets and abilities. No matter what version you play, you'll have an easy time building a team of 3 or more Pokemon that'll help with any challenge in Hoenn. You'll especially be able to avoid trait evolution since the new Pokemon happen to be as good, if not better. But now that I've finished covering teams centered around all 3 starters and a team centered around a substitute starter, I'll be covering ideal teams of Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum next. Despite Sinnoh having similar problems to Johto in terms of limited choices, it still proves to have a lot of great Pokemon available. The advent of the physical special split really makes team building far easier, especially helpful in giving previously middling Pokemon some physical or special moves to finally buff them to unforeseen heights. Hey look, that's all I got for now. If you enjoyed this revision of the 3 ideal teams of Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, please give it a like and comment telling me what you enjoyed the most about this video. Until next time, have a good day.